So this is what I'm told to do here. And everyone knew that, you know, skateboarders were out there. They had domino pieces and they skateboarded all over that skirting of the municipal building, which was just north and a tad west of City Hall, like just a little inch, you know, west, northwest of City Hall. Anyway, that sculpture finally was demolished and taken down. But anyway, in Bradenton, Florida, there you have it. So Milton Bradley. I would wonder if, you know, politicians or giants in the sky were playing a game or showing that a game was played, which is how some communities actually were developed in history, including potentially Bradenton, for special types of people who grew up in a special program, if you will. So that's what I was hoping to do. So anyway, my dad would wind up walking in a mall, kind of a newish mall. I got the impression it was new-ish. I think it was Lakewood Ranch Mall or something like that. So he walked a lot, got his steps in. And now, you know, that I'm carrying around this camera, I suddenly thought for a minute, like, I kind of feel like my dad sometimes. He walked a lot to keep going, and it could be a way to keep busy because it can get depressing and boring when you're not active. Like if you just stay inside all the time, you could, you know, your brain could go to a dark place. So I don't know, he just needed to, you know, walk the mall for some reason. But so to see on Milk Boy, it's saying Mall Girl, you know, and Lazy Acres, and it's like kind of funny because who's in Lazy Acres and who's the mall girl walking around all the time? And Lazy Acres kind of represents land and ownership, and, you know, and kind of working, not working, kind of like some people's even their roles and jobs are kind of easy-ish. So and they still, you know, get to have a good salary or earning or what have you. So all right, thank you. Sorry. They have a Ramadan menu at IHOP. So Ramadan menu available after 6 p.m. So Ramadan begins like at sunset, or began at sunset on last Friday. As long as they saw the crescent moon. I actually saw a piece of news that said they have to see the crescent moon and then it officially begins. So if you don't see it, I'm not really sure how that works. They have to wait to see it. Sorry about that. IHOP. Center City Mosque. So I kind of feel like mall girl as if I were walking the mall. Now I'm outdoors. Technically I can't take a camera in the mall. That oddly, we have a new mall or a renovated gallery, and it looks similar. It did at first when it was brand new, and during the pandemic it was relatively untouched and super new looking. And it reminded me of my dad's mall, the mall that my dad went to in Lakewood Ranch, which is near Bradenton. I'm pretty sure it's Lakewood Ranch. And I was like, wow, these look very similar. The landscapes, the Starbucks, you know, where the seating is and everything. Anyway, gotta back up here. I thought that was pretty interesting. But in Philly, I'm pretty certain you can't carry around a camera in the mall. My dad didn't carry a camera in the Lakewood Ranch Mall. He just went there to walk. But here I am walking like he is. That was really the point. The point finally, you know, made after, you know, 15 minutes of talking. But here we are on Broad and Sansom. Bellevue over here. It looks 10 times bigger because of the scaffolding all over the place. Like it's more noticeable and larger. For some reason I would pass it by and not pay it much mind, you know. It used to have a Starbucks in the lobby. They completely redid the entire lobby elevator area, so it looks totally different than it used to look. And I guess Starbucks is never coming back. Interestingly, during the peak of my experience, which was really bad kicking off in 2011, there were Starbucks all over the place. This city had so many people, it was ridiculous. These days, you know, a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the population. So, and there's only, you know, so many Starbucks, and a couple of them even closed. So the train one's often enough. He's running to the, seemingly running to the, unless he's running just to his workplace, but running to the Broad Street line. But they run often enough that it's not a big deal if you miss it. There's one like 5 minutes later, you know. And in the city, it kind of doesn't matter. You can show up relatively within like a 1 hour block of time because they know how public transportation works. So they're a lot more relaxed in terms of like showing up depending on your job, I guess. But that's so funny because in the past, there were always scenes of people running to catch the train, running to catch the subway, running to catch the bus, you know, running to catch this. Like, that seems so New York. No one really does that. And like, so he's put on a little bit of a show there, unless he's actually super late, you know, but otherwise. CB2, do you have a CB radio for a brain, you know? I do, oh my God. So, 9:34. Cheesecake Factory. Remember how CB radios work, or you just like held a walkie-talkie and everything? Is that pretty much the same? So, oh, I've even heard that, like, in the latter part of the slaughtering of me in Philadelphia, I got the term walkie-talkie because I would walk and talk a lot. It's almost like they exercised my vocal cords and actual jaw because I didn't talk a lot growing up. I was actually quite quiet and withdrawn. So to be able to talk this much, that involves a lot of muscle development and a whole change of a person. So it's funny, that feeling came through last night, and I remembered it. I was like, ooh, there's that weird feeling as like a strain on the jaw muscles, if you will, and the tendons, and, you know, where does that come from? Can it be put in, you know? Truth be told, I actually did not speak a lot for much of my life. It wasn't until 2015, 16, 17 when I became jabberjaws on the street. So, thank you. So, anyway, that's a whole stage, you know, stepwise transition, it's hard to. I